Hello friends, today we are going to discuss about World Wide Web and HTTP. This is the part 2 video and this is the continuation of World Wide Web and Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So in my last video we were discussing about HTML and DHTML for web page content. Okay, so next we will discuss about dynamic documents, okay, and active documents. Okay, so here there is a note. Dynamic documents are sometimes referred as server-side dynamic documents. Okay, see, I can give you an example for a dynamic document. Okay, you just imagine a web page, right, where you can find a lot of games and games kind of stuff. Okay, so what happens here is like you can see some advertise. It is not like advertisements. You can see some, what, like images which are dynamically changing. Okay, automatically it is getting changed. Okay, right, and you can see at the right corner there will be a image, okay, which is keep on changing, which is actually keep on changing, and you can see there is a table coming and there is a table going off, right, all stuff will happen with dynamic documents. So that is an example for dynamic document, and I tell you today you can see all the web pages, websites, right, they are mostly like active documents rather than dynamic. Okay, it is even more improved ones. Okay, so now we'll discuss about active documents. So more or less we need Java for creating these active documents. So here you can see we have an example, right, like active document using Java applet. So what happens here? A client is making a request and server is going to send you back the applet. But what happens here is the applet is going to run, okay, in the client machine to give you the results. Okay, this is called active document. Okay. So this is all about static, dynamic, and active documents. Okay. So Java applet, more or less, you will be having active web pages, which is constructed of JavaScript or Java or .NET. So these are some kind of active documents, right? So you can see, right, in this particular diagram, right, so active document using client side script. Okay, so what happens, I am requesting a content, server is sending me a applet, for example this is j5 applet, and at the client side you can see run the JavaScript off. Okay, what happens here, the function is called and the script is actually running and you will be finding the results. Okay, so there is a huge difference. Okay, for static, directly the web page is given because it is static. For dynamic, the web page is going to run at the site, okay, server side, but for active it is going to run at the client side. Okay, so now we are going to discuss about a very important protocol called HTTP. Without this there is no World Wide Web. Okay, so HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, okay, which is used mainly to access data on World Wide Web. So HTTP functions as a combination of FTP and SMTP. So FTP is when I do file transfer, it uses FTP. When I want to access mail, it uses SMTP. Okay, so what we are going to discuss here is how HTTP transaction is going to work. Okay, and we are going to discuss about persistent and non-persistent connections. Okay, so we'll see HTTP uses the services of TCP on a well-known port number called 80. So whenever someone is going to ask what is the port number used by HTTP, right, blindly we can say it is 80. Okay, but today we are not actually using HTTP. Instead we are using HTTPS, which actually runs on port number I think 402, I guess. Okay, but it is a secured version of HTTP, but functionality it is similar to HTTP. But what happens there is there is a inbuilt encapsulation mechanism and encryption mechanism has happening, okay, at your application layer level, so which makes our HTTP to become even more security. Today what happens, if I see a website which runs with HTTP, then I will put the website under a unsecured website category, because today's standard HTTPS is going to be the basic standard. Okay, but we are going to learn about HTTP because it is the basic mechanism for transferring your data when a client is going to request any web page or web content to a server. Okay, so now we'll see. It's a very simple, like request response protocol. So client is going to perform a request. It is called query, and server is going to give me a response. So this is how HTTP actually works. And we can see what happens with the request and the response messages. So in the request message, you have request line, header, a blank line, and body. In the response message, you can have status line, whether the request is processed, whether you are getting a successful, right, So like that, so status line, header, a blank line, and again you'll be getting a body of the content. Okay, so body of the content is nothing but the requested web page, okay, or web page relevant document. So now you can see how it actually happens. So for every request and for every response, there is a, again, this thing is followed, format is followed. You can see here it is based on request type space URL space HTTP version. As I told you, HTTPS will be used right now. And in the status line, which is nothing but response, what you can have in the request line, it is going to be request type URL HTTP version. In the status line of the response, it is going to be HTTP version, status code, and status phrase. Okay, so status phrase, for example, I am giving you this. I am trying to access a web page. Okay, the web page is not found. What you will see in the web page is 4 not, I think it is like 4 not, I think it is like 402, I guess. It's a web page not found. Or you can find somewhere like 502, bad gateway. Okay, so what you can find there is the 502 is called status code, and status phrase is nothing but bad gateway. Okay, so this is how the request and status lines are going to work with HTTP. And now you can see some of the important methods through which this HTTP works. First one is called get method, okay, which is going to request document from server. Second one is called head method, and which is going to request information about document but not the document itself. Post method, send some information from the client to the server. Put method, it is going to send the document from the server to the client. Trace method, which is going to echo the incoming request, okay, right? And connect is going to be like reserved purpose. Option, it inquires about available options, okay. So a lot of things you can do. This is all happening when you execute HTTP at your side. So now we'll see some important and famous status codes and status phrase. So if it is 100, then we can continue. 101 is for switching. Very important status is 200. Okay, so whenever I request a web page, I am getting a successful web page, means the status code is 200, and it means like phrase is okay. And 201 is for created, 202 is for accepted, 204 is for no content. Okay. Next, another important thing is like this one, client side error. So this is what we used to incur most of the times. So 400 means it's a bad request, and 401 means unauthorized, 403 is forbidden, 404, yes. Yes, this is what we used to get most oftenly, right? Whenever we request a page, the page not found, this is called 404 error, okay. And similarly, server side error is like 502, there is one more error, that is called bad gateway error. If it is 500, it is called internal server error. 501, it is not implemented. 502 is service not available. So these are the error will happen at the server side, okay. And there are something like redirection. 301 is for moved permanently, and 302 is for moved temporarily, and 304 is for modified. So for example, there is a server, okay, and this particular content is relocated with somewhere else, okay. So there we will be using redirection kind of status codes, okay. And finally, header format. So you have header name colon header value, okay, space header value. And these are some general headers for HTTP: cache control, connection, date, MIME, and upgrade. So MIME is mostly used for format change. For example, I want to convert my document, okay. Importantly, it is used for mail extensions, creating mail extensions. So convert your other format into ASCII format, okay. That's why MIME is used, okay. Just a second. Here some of the request headers are there, okay. So accept character set, and it goes on. And response headers like accept range, age, public, okay. So accept range is nothing but it shows if the server accepts the range request by the client, okay. So client is requesting for a document, server should understand whether the client is in a reachable position or not. That is called accept range. Age is nothing but the lifetime of the document. Public, which is nothing but it shows the supported list of methods. And retry after and server, right, it goes on. So entity headers, there are some entity headers, right? So allow is the one entity header, content encoding is another entity header, like content language is there, okay. So content length, content range, okay. So these things are going to tell about the web page, okay, what is actually requested with, okay. So this is all about your HTTP. So we'll see an example, okay, of HTTP. So for example, here there is a client mission is requesting using get method, and you are getting a response from the server. You can see here. So the response is 200. Okay, it means what? Whatever the web page I am actually requested. So here I am requesting an image, which is nothing but a GIF or JPEG. Okay, so it's a GIF or JPEG. I'm looking for image one. So I'm requesting the server, and server is providing me the image actually. So you can see here I can able to see, or I can able to download, and you can see other contents like HTTP version is 1.1, 200 OK means what I can download, and a date, and it is going to be the timestamp. MIME version is 1.0, and content length is 2048. And finally, you can get body of document. So this is how your HTTP works. So that's it, friends. So this is all about the World Wide Web and HTTP. So I think in this video we have discussed about World Wide Web, HTTP, and URL. Okay. So thank you, friends.